I was born with full spiritual power and awakened the strongest output profession, the gunner, but was laughed at by the whole school as a fake man, because I'm just a gunner. If there is not enough ammunition, even the wild dogs in the village dare to pee on you. The weapon of a gunner needs to be crafted by himself. It takes time, energy, and resources, but I'm not worried at all, because my professional skill is a weapon, and it's awakened. The first stage of the exclusive talent of the gunner is infinite ammo. Note that the second stage can be unlocked at level 20. At this time, I'm going to find a girlfriend to go to the dungeon, to experience what infinite firepower is. After coming out of Hall 1, I hurried to Hall 3. Entering the hall, I took a glance. I saw Duguyan standing beside the awakening platform. In our college, Duguyan's popularity is almost comparable to mine. She became famous because of my unprecedented full spiritual power, while Duguyan is famous for her beautiful appearance. Yes, as the first genius of the academy, my girlfriend is the school beauty of our college. The goddess in the hearts of all boys in the college. Yaner, I had just called out half of her name, but suddenly saw next to Duguyan, the arrogant blonde young man. He was Yuan Ting, the only other genius in the academy besides me, with 95 spiritual power. I heard the discussions around me when I awakened. This original body seems to have awakened the phantom god, and he was also the stronger night walker among them. Duguyan was smiling charmingly, and was chatting with Yuan Ting enthusiastically. Hearing the exclusive name Yaner, Duguyan immediately turned her head to look this way. Her face changed, and quietly glanced at Yuan Ting beside her. The smile on her face suddenly disappeared, and became a little cold. Yaner, I haven't finished talking yet, Duguyan suddenly interrupted. I told you the day before yesterday. We are over. Don't pester me anymore. Then Duguyan took out her phone and opened a screenshot, which showed our chat history. I was stunned. Duguyan flashed her phone in front of me, and then seemed to hold it casually. The screen was tilted towards the round object beside, and her series of small actions all fell into my eyes. My surprise on my face gradually subsided. I stared at Duguyan seriously. Duguyan was slightly flustered by my stare, but forced a calm expression on his face. Are you sure? I said slowly. Hearing my question, Duguyan was relieved. He knew that since I asked that, it means I won't expose his lies, because Duguyan knew my personality well, knowing that I seem easygoing on the surface, but in fact I am quite arrogant. Some things I don't bother to explain at all, and I don't care about the rumors about me. Duguyan glanced at Yuan Ting beside him. After Yuan Ting saw the screenshot in her phone, he put away his phone. In the past year, I found that our personalities are not suitable. In that case, we should break up earlier. It's a good thing for both of us, and won't delay each other. I raised my eyebrows. I understand why Duguyan did this. The screenshot just now was sent when Duguyan flirted with me 2 days ago, but Duguyan cut it out and edited it. Obviously, Duguyan had prepared in advance. But before coming to Awaken today, Duguyan and I were still chatting and laughing. There was no problem between us. That is to say, Duguyan's transformation happened just now. What happened just now? After I awakened my career, I went to the bathroom alone. I confirmed my skills and the hidden talent. The fact that I awakened as a mechanic must have reached Duguyan through various channels. You know, I awakened as a mechanic. I looked deeply at Duguyan. Duguyan's eyes quickly fluctuated, with a flat tone. I heard someone mention it just now. Sure enough, what is your awakened profession? I asked again. Holy priest. Duguyan raised her chin slightly. Holy priest. A ridiculous expression appeared on my face. I didn't expect that. I was about to share the good news with Duguyan. To share the good news? He showed such a realistic and ruthless side. I didn't expect that. Duguyan's kindness to me was only because of my unprecedented full spiritual power. But when he knew Yuan Ting awakened Night Watchman, but he was the most useless profession, the mechanic. He immediately and decisively abandoned our relationship. I shook my head in disappointment and was ready to turn around and leave. For such a person, I have no interest in saving it. And I was too lazy to say a word to him. Lee Haoyan, you didn't expect it. Reality is always full of drama, no matter how talented you are. Even if you awaken a crappy profession like mechanic, it's meaningless. Yuan Ting looked at me with a proud face. I don't know. What do those old fuddy-duddies in the guild think? A macagnome like this deserves to be called a phantom god. In my opinion, it's no different from a sewer job. Yanner chose me correctly, because only a powerful night watchman like me can protect the healer. Saying that, Yuanting put her arm around Dugu Yan's waist and glanced at her huge bottle with burning eyes. Dugu Yan had a shy smile on her face, without any intention of resistance. I showed a mocking smile on my face. From now on, I don't need a healer anymore. A sewer occupation. Yes, it's really dramatic. Yuanting, keep an eye on your nurse. Be careful that she will find stronger teammates, and run to feed others. I left this sentence coldly, and turned around and left decisively. Yuanting looked at my leaving back. She suddenly remembered that in the past year, the healer in her arms had fed me countless times. Her face suddenly turned gloomy. Without the halo of genius Li Haochen, what qualifications do you have to be arrogant? Don't give me a chance. Otherwise, Yuanting's heart was burning with anger. I left the awakening hall. I thought for a moment and turned to the copy teleportation hall. After the professional awakening, you usually have two upgrade modes. The first is to form a team by yourself, to fight monsters in the wild to gain experience. Leaving the shelter of the city, there are wild monsters everywhere. As long as you don't leave the city too far, the low-level monsters near the city are actually suitable for beginners to hone. But the drawback is that, after the annual career awakening, there are too many new players farming monsters outside. Leveling up and competing for monsters is a hassle. As for the second way, is to buy a dungeon entrance ticket in the teleport hall, which directly teleports you to the exclusive dungeon, so no one will compete with you for monsters. And there are also experience rewards for clearing dungeons, which can help you level up faster. The limited number of people entering the dungeon is 4. You can freely form teams, but your level can't be higher than the dungeon's level 5. I came to the ticket window. I gritted my teeth and handed over 100 gold coins. I want a ticket to the Dark Forest. Farming dungeons is faster, but the price is never cheap. 100 gold coins is all I have now. As an orphan, my financial situation has always been tight. I saved all the money by living frugally. If the materials produced in the dungeon were only for me, I can still make the ticket money back. I thought to myself. The staff took the gold coins and handed me a registration form. Fill in the number, occupation level, name, and corresponding ID card. I know, this is to prevent accidents for dungeon challengers. Prevention measures. After all, the difficulty of the dungeon is much stronger than those low-level wild monsters. When a player of the same level enters, accidentally being wiped out is a common occurrence. Leaving a message can at least know who died. I quickly wrote, finished, and handed it back. The staff took a look. He suddenly looked up and looked at me in astonishment. A level 10 newly awakened mechanic. I nodded. The staff member suddenly gasped in shock. You're courting death! You actually won a solo Dark Forest. The Minotaur in the Dark Forest are at least level 10. Elite Minotaur is level 11. The boss of this dungeon, and the boss, the bullhead leader, is level 12. And the Minotaur is tough-skinned and strong, with more blood and defense. No class at the same level can solo it, let alone a mere mechanic. I grinned. It's okay, I just want to try. Anyway, there is a teleport crystal. With the speed of the Minotaur, if I can't beat it, I can always run away. The staff shook his head in silence. Soon the registration was completed. I took the ticket and walked towards the teleportation gate. Standing in the teleportation area of the Dark Forest, I activated the ticket. A flash of white light. My figure disappeared. With a moment of trance in front of me, I appeared at the entrance of a sparse forest. I could vaguely see giant creatures over 2 meters tall, wandering in the dark forest. These are the monsters in the dark forest, the Minotaur. They are separated from each other by a distance. As long as you get within 5 meters of them, they will attack you actively. I narrowed my eyes. I know that although I have infinite ammunition, I still need to be vigilant. I can't pull too many monsters at the same time. Otherwise, once I'm surrounded by these Minotaurs, I would still be in danger. I took a deep breath. I used the skill Glock pistol. With a flash of white light, a matte silver Glock pistol appeared in my hand. Skill Glock pistol. Skill description, summon Glock pistol. Every minute the Glock pistol exists, consumes 1 spiritual power point. When the spiritual power value is 0, the Glock pistol will be automatically withdrawn. With a thought, the pistol quickly left my palm and quietly hovered in front of me. It's a passive skill for all mechanics. Super energy control. Through superpower control, the engineer can use his mind, control all the super weapons they have created. After all, in the middle and late stages, the number of the engineer's super weapons will be exaggerated, because ammunition is unlimited and time is precious. I dare not delay. I continue to summon Glock pistols. In the blink of an eye, 10 Glock pistols appeared in front of me. Because they don't need to be made. With sufficient spiritual power, I can summon multiple super weapons to use simultaneously. Each Glock pistol exists for 1 minute. It will consume 10 spiritual powers. My spiritual power is 200. Although spiritual power can recover automatically, it definitely can't keep up with the consumption. That is to say, for safety's sake, I must complete the dungeon within 20 minutes. I think it should be enough. Excitement flashed in my eyes. I walked towards the dark forest. The effective killing range of Glock pistol is 50 meters. But I know my marksmanship is not good, so I walked to a distance of 20 meters from it. I controlled 10 Glock pistols to fire simultaneously. The intensive gunfire broke out instantly. The Minotaur just turned around and didn't even have time to take a step. He fell to the ground under my fire. I gained 10 experience points for killing the Minotaur. Looking at the sudden kill prompt in front of me, I gasped in shock. I muttered, "Oh my God, this is truly fleeting." My excited body trembled slightly. Infinite ammo. This is the right way to play as a mechanic. I kept my distance from the Minotaur. In this copy, as long as I don't enter within 5 meters of the Minotaur, even if they hear the sound, they will not attack me. I was surrounded by 10 Glotts. I killed all the way to the depths of the dark forest. I also encountered 2 elite Minotaurs on the way, but under the firepower suppression of infinite ammo, they also became sieve and slept peacefully, which contributed 20 experience points to me, twice as much as ordinary Minotaurs. The dark forest is a primary dungeon. The whole instance includes 1 boss, 2 elites, and 47 ordinary Minotaurs. Under the firepower of my infinite ammunition, in just 10 minutes, I passed through the forest path. I came to the deepest part of the dark forest. Beside a fire not far away, a huge Minotaur over 3 meters tall was training back and forth. Wearing a shiny silver armor, exuding a fierce aura, seeing the final boss, I didn't hesitate at all. I thought. 10 Glock pistols began to fire wildly. The boss's defense is twice that of elite monsters, but in the dense hail of bullets, he only ran 3 steps towards this side. He fell to the ground with a bang. Killing the Minotaur boss gives 50 experience points. Clear the dark forest to get 100 experience points. Congratulations on refreshing the dark forest. The fastest time to clear the dungeon gets 200 XP. Seeing the copy prompts constantly flashing in front of me, my eyes lit up. Wow, the reward for refreshing the fastest time is so rich. Congratulations on upgrading to level 11. Damn, I've leveled up. Sure enough, soloing dungeons and enjoying the experience is fast. This is much faster than crowded outside the city, and fighting monsters much faster. I quickly opened the career panel. I saw the spiritual power value in the attribute bar, because it was filled up again after leveling up. Not only that, there are 5 free potential points on the top, which can be assigned freely. Without thinking, I directly added all of them to spiritual power, plus the 5 basic attributes given by level up. My spiritual power is now 210 points. I can summon 1 more Glott pistol for 10 minutes. Just then, suddenly a purple light flashed in front of me. An equipment similar to armor fell beside the Minotaur King. I was slightly stunned, and then reacted immediately, and a look of surprise on my face. No way. A common copy dropped a purple equipment. I walked up quickly. I picked up the equipment. Its name is Bright Silver Chest Armor of the Bull King. Unbound Light Armor. It increases strength by 14 points, and 14 points of spirit. I was a little disappointed. I looked at the equipment and sighed. Light armor, what a pity. It's not suitable for me. There are 5 types of equipment in this world. Cloth armor, leather armor, light armor, heavy armor, and plate armor. Caster classes usually use cloth or leather armor. Those who practice both magic and martial arts usually use light armor. Physical classes mostly use heavy and plate armor. Like my engineer profession, is actually a kind of mage. I can only use leather armor. Of course, it's not impossible to use other types of equipment, but if it's not suitable for your class, but if the attributes are not right, you will lose the defense bonus of armor proficiency. Accessory types of equipment are generally universal, as long as the attributes are suitable. The equipment level ranges from low to high, ranging from crappy white equipment, ordinary green equipment, excellent blue, rare purple, and artifact level pink, legendary orange equipment, and the golden epic equipment. White equipment is everywhere, and can be bought with a few silver coins. Ordinary green equipment, whether it's a wild monster or normal monsters in the dungeon, have a high chance of dropping. Take it to the auction house. At least one gold coin. At the blue equipment level, only elite monsters can produce them, and bosses in dungeons will definitely drop them. The price in the auction house will instantly rise to dozens of gold coins. And the rare level sub-equipment, only the boss can produce them. And the probability is low, with only a 10% chance of being produced. If you want to buy a sub-equipment in the auction house, at least several hundred gold coins. Ordinary players have to save money for a long time to get one, so it is called rare. Although I can't use this purple equipment, I can sell it in the auction house. Just this thing can earn me hundreds of gold coins. As for the artifact level pink equipment, although all dungeon bosses and elite monsters may drop it, but the probability is too low. 1% drop rate is not for the lucky. But if one really drops, it will be a great profit. It's worth at least several thousand gold coins. If you're lucky enough to encounter an artifact with, it's a hard to find good thing worth thousands of gold coins. Besides this armor, the Bull King as a boss also drops a male clothing, the leather belt of the Minotaur King, which I can use. So I decisively equipped it to myself. It increased my spiritual power by 11 points. Now all the monsters in the Dark Forest have been cleared. I was busy killing monsters just now. I didn't take anything. I happily put away the equipment. I started to sweep other loot all the way back. 2 elite Minotaurs contributed 2 blue equipment to me. As for the other ordinary Minotaurs, there are about 20 green equipment. In addition, Enyotor in the teeth, leather, and iron fragments, etc., various random dungeon materials. These materials are useful for ordinary mechanics. Maybe useful, because they give blueprints. Super weapons still need to be made by collecting materials, but they are completely useless to me. I can sell them all for gold coins. I roughly calculated that, even if we exclude that equipment, just selling these things in the auction house, I can earn about 200 gold coins, while the ticket to the Dark Forest only costs 100 gold. That is to say, for a solo player like me, I can not only gain crazy experience, but also make a fortune. Thinking of this, I didn't dare to waste time. I immediately activated the teleport crystal. 3 seconds later, my figure appeared in the copy hall again. Then I walked out excitedly. My destination is the auction house. The staff saw my expression. They were stunned, then subconsciously glanced at the clock beside him. How could this guy come out so soon? Looking at his expression, did he get something? Could he have dropped a blue equipment? No, it's impossible. The first elite Minotaur in the Dark Forest. It takes killing over 10 ordinary Minotaurs to meet. As a newly transferred mechanic, how could he kill more than 10 Minotaur in 10 minutes? The staff shook his head with a smile. But at this moment, on the display panel above the teleportation entrance of the Dark Forest, a message suddenly updated. The fastest record of clearing the Dark Forest. 25 minutes and 12 seconds, player Li Haochen. The staff was stunned for a moment, and instantly stood up. He rubbed his eyes hard, and looked at it again in disbelief. Wow, he exclaimed in shock. You know, the previous fastest record was an hour, and it was also done by a team of 4 people. I was alone, and I was just a newly transferred engineer. How did I clear it in half an hour? The staff didn't know that. The time I actually spent on this dungeon was only 10 minutes. As for the remaining more than 10 minutes, I spent it all on collecting materials to facilitate players to buy and sell equipment. The auction house is next to the copy teleport hall. I entered the auction house. I found an empty window and put all the items I was going to sell and took them all out. The window. The clerk saw the bright silver armor of the Bull King, and his eyes showed a slight surprise. You're lucky, young man, and you even got this thing, I asked expectantly. How much is this item on the market? The teller quickly checked and said, he smiled and said that many new awakened professions. The bright silver armor of the Bullhead King, which is just suitable for light armor professions. The last one was just bought by someone else. The market price is 500 gold coins. I pondered for a moment. I continued to ask, was the previous one? Was it just put up for sale recently? The teller nodded. It was sold in just a few days. I just thought for a moment. I decisively offered 600 gold coins. Gi-wen glanced at me with admiration for a profiteer. You're a good guy to seize the opportunity. Okay, I got it. Give me the equipment. I smiled. I handed the armor with a faint purple light to Guiyuan. After equipping the purple equipment, I also traded the ordinary materials I scavenged, equipment and the auction house. I earned 223 gold coins. Enough for me to buy 2 more tickets. I left the auction house without stopping and walked towards the copy teleportation hall again. Outside the city, Yunting was half lying in the shade, holding Duguyan, and leisurely watched the security guards sent by the family. The level of these security guards is not too high. They are all level 18 or 19 players, but they were efficient in dealing with the level 11 or 12 boars. They are very efficient, even with the experience sharing of the team, much faster than fighting monsters by themselves. Just then, Yunting's phone suddenly rang on his waist. He picked up the phone and found it was his minion who was squatting for equipment. It was from his minion. Hello, Yuan. The last light armor has been bought. All the equipment you want is ready. Wenting's eyes lit up. Bring them to me when you buy them. The lackey lowered his voice. Brother Yuan, I'm calling to report a message to you. You know, who hung up the last Bull King armor? None of my business. Anyway, it will eventually fall into my hands. It's Li Haoqian. I saw it with my own eyes. Li Haoqian is a newly awakened mechanic. Someone was willing to team up with him to brush the copy. Brother Buyuan, I just followed Li Haoqian to the dungeon teleportation hall. I saw him buy a ticket and teleported into the dark forest. This guy didn't form a team. He was soloing the dungeon. Yunting glared and stood up abruptly. What did you say? Say it again to me. Li Haoqian didn't team up. He entered the dungeon alone. Yunting was completely stunned. He was a newly awakened mechanic. Even if he made a super weapon, he couldn't solo the dark forest. A moment later, he told on the phone, you keep an eye on him. Li Haoqian over there. If he can really pass, notify me as soon as he comes out. Wenting hung up the phone. The originally leisurely mood had long since disappeared. Du Guyan next to him also heard the conversation. Her rosy lips slightly opened, and was also shocked. More than 20 minutes later, Yuanting's phone rang again. Oh my god, Yuan. The guy came out. 22 minutes and 36 seconds. The kid actually broke the record. Yuanting's pupils instantly contracted. She exclaimed in shock. What did you say? In 22 minutes, he alone broke the record. Damn, that guy teleported into a new dungeon. Thunder Ruins. Duguyan was shocked and covered her mouth. Thunder Ruins. Isn't this a dungeon that requires level 12 to enter? He has already reached level 12. Yuanting's face was uncertain, and quickly began to calculate in her mind. If he clears the dungeon twice solo, the experience is just enough to level up to level 12. But as a broken mechanic, how could he solo the dungeon? Wenting looked unconvinced. She gritted her teeth and said, let's go. Go to the copy teleportation hall. 10 minutes later, Wenting brought Duguyan and a group of security guards, arrived at the copy hall with a menacing look. Is that kid still in the dungeon? Yenting gritted her teeth and asked, Yes, I've been keeping an eye on him. He hasn't come out yet. At this time, the movement here had already attracted the attention of many people. When everyone saw the latest clearance record of Dark Forest, various exclamations and discussions immediately drowned out the area. Damn it, he broke the record for soloing the Dark Forest. How did he do it? Isn't this the unprecedented? The master with full spiritual power? He is a newly transferred mechanic. How could he solo the Dark Forest? Could he have found some way to pass the level? And exploiting a bug? Hearing these people's discussions, Yuanting's eyes lit up immediately. Li Haoqian found some bug in the dungeon. Yes, it must be like this. But then, Yuanting frowned. Even if I find some bug carding skills, I definitely won't tell him. The monster in Thunder Ruins is Dark Race. Dark Race's defense and attack power are better than those of the Minotaur, but their movement speed is slower than that of Minotaur. This kind of monster with high attack, monster with slow movement speed, is just the most suitable for me to exert my abilities. To increase the speed of pushing monsters, I spent a lot of money. I bought a full set of green equipment, including jewelry. I spent more than 10 gold coins, because cloth armor adds the most spiritual power. Although I am a leather armor specialist, it will weaken my defense to the extreme. But in front of 20 Glock pistols, do I still need defense? It's not needed at all. Okay, now my spiritual power has been piled up to over 300. Even if I use 20 Glock pistols simultaneously, it can also last for 15 minutes. The total number of monsters in Thunder Ruins reached 80. The sound of bullets pouring out filled the entire ruins. The Dark Thunder West leader, over 4 meters long, let out a mournful roar and fell to the ground. 2 blue lights flashed. 2 blue equipment appeared beside the Dark Race leader. I took a closer look. My eyes lit up. Wow, it's a leather armor. Nice, it adds 20 points of spiritual power, which is the best among blue equipment. I'll wear it first, although I have enough firepower now, but more spiritual power is never a bad thing. Anyway, wearing blue equipment won't be bound. I'll sell them in the auction house when I don't need them. The unicorn horn and rhino hide of Dark Resi are much more valuable than the materials dropped by the Minotaur, are much more valuable. After cleaning up the battlefield, I looked at my experience points. I sighed with regret. The later it is, the harder it is to level up. I only got 60% of the experience alone. Well, at least I don't lack the ticket money. I'll just play more times. I shook my head gently. I crushed the teleport crystal and quit the dungeon. Damn it. He found the speed pass bug in 21 minutes. Oh my god, is this the innate? Mechanical engineer with full spiritual power. It can sense the dungeon bug. As soon as I came out, the noisy and chaotic exclamation suddenly startled me. What the hell is this? Why are there so many people suddenly surrounding me? Seeing the envious and jealous eyes of those around me, I subconsciously looked up at the Thunder Ruins. It shows the fastest clearance record of Thunder Ruins. The fastest pass time is 21 minutes and 21 seconds. It seems that I soloed the dungeon has spread. How did you get stuck in the bug? I'll pay 100 gold coins to buy it. Please tell me. Get lost, you're only asking for 100 gold coins. Does Lee need your 100 gold coins? I'll pay 1,000 gold coins. Please take me. Brother Hyotian, can you take me to brush a few times? I'm a professional of Hyena family. Not only can she heal, but also very moist. With your scales all over your body, but it's still uncomfortable. I couldn't help but complain in my heart. Everyone misunderstood. I didn't use a bug. I soloed it with my own strength. Don't try to take shortcuts, but just upgrade step by step. I'm honest and reliable. I, the honest and reliable Xiaolangjun, while squeezing through the crowd towards the auction house. I muttered in my heart. I had used up the 2 tickets I just bought. Now I'm going to deal with the materials, and then exchange them for gold coins to continue leveling. Looking at my back, everyone's faces showed disappointment. The bug in the dungeon has not been unnoticed before. But those who found bugs wouldn't disclose it. But they would use it and equipment for making money. As for soloing with my own strength, only fools would believe. Just as I was about to walk out the door, a pretty figure suddenly stood in front of me. I looked up. I raised my eyebrows and said, Dugu Yan, you're in my way. Dugu Yan flashed an awkward look on her face. But when he thought of my experience and income from soloing, he immediately suppressed the embarrassment. Instead, a slight heat rose in her heart. Hao Tian, I was joking with you before. Let's make up. I am the most beautiful girl in Qingshan College. You are the most talented person in Qingshan College. Our classmates have always praised us as a perfect match, and the mechanic has always been the biggest weakness. And my awakened holy priest is also an absolute leader in the auxiliary profession. I can not only add defense buffs, but also heal injuries. This is simply God's arrangement. The more Dugu Yan said, the brighter her eyes became, as if it were true, hearing Dugu Yan's boasting. But I showed a mocking smile on my face. I don't need to think you were right before. Our personalities are not suitable. It's better to be apart, so that we won't delay each other. I deliberately emphasized the word delay. Hearing this, Dugu Yan's bright smile slightly froze. After saying that, I didn't even look at Dugu Yan. I pushed him away and walked out. Not to mention that Dugu Yan's holy priest is just a first-line class. Even if it was a god support, I wouldn't even look at him now. When my level rises, I don't even need a support class. With infinite firepower, after reaching a high level, I can use various defensive super weapons. It's extremely difficult for others to hurt me. I don't need healing. Seeing me walk into the auction house next to me, Dugu Yan opened her mouth slightly, with disappointment and embarrassment on her face. Yuan Ting came out with a gloomy face. She glared viciously at the onlookers around. She shouted angrily, "You bunch of bumpkins, you don't do your work but just watch. Do you still want to fight with me?" Everyone showed indignation in their eyes. But seeing Yuan Ting, who was a phantom god, they really didn't dare to provoke her. When everyone left, Yenting looked at the auction house with jealousy. She said with hatred, "What a pity. Li Haodian is such a poor boy that he didn't fall for it. If he were willing to lead you through a dungeon, I would know." His bug hacking skills. Dugu Yan flashed a look of regret in her eyes. If I had really agreed to take him back, Dugu Yan would have taken it seriously. She would have followed me. She wouldn't go back to Yuan Ting. Nor would she follow the original plan. Tell Yuan Ting the bug-fixing skills. The reason why he decisively dumped me and Yuan Ting was to use the Yuan family's power to quickly level up and obtain equipment, to stand out in the college selection in 3 days, to enter the East Dragon Empire, one of the best super high schools. I went to the auction house. I sold the materials I collected from the last 2 dungeons and unwanted equipment, and sold them all. Then, I retrieved the Bull King armor that was instantly killed by Yuan Ting to retrieve the gold coins. After deducting the auction house's handling fee, I earned more than 1,200 gold coins. I didn't use these gold coins to buy any equipment. I immediately went to the dungeon hall. I have made up my mind to directly reach level 20 within 3 days, because at level 20 I can unlock the second stage talent, and I will have 2 more skills. Then I can participate in the college selection. I can have 100% certainty. I can enter Tsinghua University and Peking University. I can enter these 2 top universities. I have the opportunity to join advanced guilds, and high-level dungeons are basically controlled by various high-level guilds, and those high-difficulty and high-level abyss dungeons, large group dungeons and faction confrontation dungeons, and even international killing dungeons. Without a guild to rely on, it's easy to become cannon fodder. Back to the dungeon hall, I bought 8 tickets to the Thunder Ruins in one go. As my level increases, the experience points required for upgrading are also increasing rapidly. I roughly calculated that, at this growth rate, I'm afraid I have to run the Thunder Ruins 8 times to level up to level 15. And as the level of the dungeon increases, the price of the ticket will also increase. The ticket to the Dark Forest only costs 100 gold, but Thunder Ruins requires 120 gold coins. 8 tickets cost 960 gold coins. From afternoon to evening, I went in and out of Thunder Ruins with great pleasure. Even the staff in the teleportation hall of the dungeon have been numb. I don't know how long it passed. I used up the last ticket. I entered the Thunder Ruins again. I summoned 20 Glock pistols with ease, surrounding myself. Then I moved forward steadily and crushed all the way to the boss area. With the last round of crazy firepower, Thunder Moses' leader fell to the ground again. My health bar was empty. Ding dong, congratulations on reaching level 15. Seeing this sudden upgrade prompt, my eyes suddenly lit up. I immediately opened the attribute panel, because at level 15, I can unlock a new skill. First, I directly added the 5 free potential points, all to spiritual power. Then I clicked on the last column of talents. I looked at the skill column. Under the bright silver Glock pistol, there was a black one, a super weapon several times larger in size. Skill Gatling rotating machine gun. Skill description, summon Gatling rotating machine gun. Every minute the Gatling rotates, consumes 2 spiritual power points. When the spiritual power value is 0, the Gatling will be automatically withdrawn. Seeing this thing, I couldn't help but light up, and my whole body trembled with excitement. Damn, I thought. I thought it would only unlock an automatic rifle, but I didn't expect it to be Gatling. As a top student, when I saw these words, I immediately recalled the relevant knowledge I had learned, and recalled. The Gatling rotating machine gun. It's composed of 6 14.7mm barrels. Its rate of fire can reach an astonishing 1,000 rounds per minute. With this, the rate of fire is even more than my current 20 Glock pistols. Combined is even more powerful. Even if the spiritual power consumed per minute is twice that of Glock pistols, its firepower density is completely incomparable to the Glock pistol. After reaching level 15, plus the spiritual power bonus of equipment, my spiritual power is more than 400 points. In 10 minutes, summon and use 20 Gatling rotating machine guns. With the talent of infinite ammunition, 20 Gatling guns, more than 20,000 rounds per minute, and super weapons will not have firepower attenuation or barrel overheating problems. From now on, my efficiency in clearing dungeons will increase exponentially. Thinking of this, I didn't hesitate. I immediately summoned 20 Gatling rotating machine guns, all black. I licked my lips excitedly. I looked around, and then landed on a nearby boulder. With a thought, 20 Gatling guns fired simultaneously. On the 2-meter-tall giant stone, a rain of debris shot out. In just a few seconds, the huge stone was bombarded by this ferocious firepower and shot into powder. Wow, this is too brutal. I was satisfied to put these Gatling guns away. I had a fanatical look in my eyes. The firepower is enough. Now what I need most is to stack spiritual power. I suddenly saw a touch of purple light next to the boss. I was slightly stunned. I was pleasantly surprised. What luck. I got a purple equipment again. I quickly ran over to check the equipment attributes. Name Moses Bracelet. Unbound type accessory, attribute speed increased by 10, and 40 points of spiritual power. Nice, it's a bracelet, which I can use. I nodded with satisfaction. I directly put on this equipment. I exited Thunder Ruins. I immediately ran to the auction house nearby. I sold all the materials and equipment. I got from the dungeon, and exchanged for more than 2,500 gold coins. I was satisfied and left. I went back to sleep. The next day it was just dawn. I couldn't wait to come to the dungeon teleportation hall, but what I didn't expect was that Yenting and Dugu Yan were also there. Besides them, Yuanting was followed by 2 security guards. Seeing me, Yuanting's face changed slightly. I had reached level 15. I was in a good mood. Seeing these 2 guys, I suddenly remembered what Yuanting mocked me yesterday. I rolled my eyes and walked towards them. Yo, isn't this the mighty Night Stalker, young Master Yuan? Why aren't you robbing monsters today and are ready to join the dungeon? Dugu Yan looked at me with complicated eyes, which made her feel uncomfortable. Because when I came over just now, I didn't even look at her from start to finish. As if he was a passerby, Yuanting looked ugly. Li Haochen, don't be proud. It's just a fluke. And discovered a bug? You can only hang out in Thunder Ruins. With your crappy profession, you're destined to be a waste in the future. Oh, really? Let's wait and see. I smiled and walked towards the ticket booth without caring. Seeing my smug look, Yenting snorted angrily and walked towards Thunder Ruins. Yesterday, he spent all day killing monsters, and his level finally rose to level 13. Today, he specially found 2 level 15 security guards and prepared to enter the Thunder Ruins to try. He didn't believe it. I can find the bug in the dungeon. Such a powerful Night Stalker couldn't find it. Not only him. Today, several groups of people who had reached level 12. All of them had a fluke mentality, trying to find a bug to quickly clear Thunder Ruins. I came to the ticket window, took out 700 gold coins, and handed them to the ticket seller. Give me 5 tickets to the Glatt Valley first, for the ticket. The Glatter is a more advanced copy, so the price of the ticket is naturally higher. 140 gold coins each. The ticket seller, the one who saw me solo the dungeon yesterday, looking at my handsome face, he was even a little numb. Thunder Ruins ticket, 5 tickets. 5 tickets, right? What did you say? The Glatter Canyon. This is a dungeon that only level 15 can enter. You're already level 15. What the fuck is this leveling speed? With the ticket seller's exclamation, many people in the hall were attracted by the movement here. Yuanting was about to activate the ticket. She heard the words Glatt Canyon. Her body froze. Turned to look this way. I smiled faintly. Yes, 5 tickets to the Glatt Canyon. I took the tickets from the confused ticket seller. I took the tickets to the Grand Canyon. I turned and walked towards the teleportation area. Passing by Yuanting, winked at Yuanting, and smiled. Powerful Yuan Gongzi, come on, if you are still so slow. Maybe I might even find the bug in the glittering canyon. Hearing my sarcastic voice, Yuanting's face turned livid with anger. I mocked her. I laughed. I walked into the teleportation area of the Glatt Canyon. I flashed and disappeared. Seeing me teleport into the Glatt Canyon dungeon alone. In the teleportation hall, many people stopped their steps to enter the dungeon. Do you think he can get stuck in the dungeon again? Nonsense. If he wasn't sure, he would die if he went in alone. I'm so jealous. Is this the value of full spiritual power? He is probably the fastest to level up in all classes. He has risen to level 15 in just 1 day. That's fucking amazing. Yuanting clenched her fists. Gritting her teeth, Dogra said the terrain of Glatt Canyon. There are 150 monsters in total. The number is almost doubled compared to Thunder Ruins, and the monster distribution is relatively dense. In this environment, I don't believe a broken mechanic can continue to bug. Saying that, Yuanting simply sat down nearby, staring intently. the teleportation area of the Glatt Canyon, Duguyan suddenly felt bitter in her heart. After all, he spent a year with me and knew what kind of personality I had. If he didn't have absolute certainty, I definitely wouldn't go into the copy alone to find discomfort. So he was sure that I was absolutely sure to clear the dungeon alone. Duguyan felt heartbroken and couldn't breathe. If she hadn't said goodbye to me yesterday, she would have been level 14 today. Then if I brushed the dungeon again today, even if the experience is scored, I can definitely reach level 15. But now I'm already level 15. But I'm only level 13. Although it's just a simple 2-level gap. But in fact, the experience points may be more than double that from level 10 to 13. At the entrance of the Dela Canyon, the air is slightly distorted. My figure appeared quietly. In the middle of the canyon road, there are densely distributed dwarfs with hunched figures, with gray skin and fierce looks, frost goblins. These goblins are in groups of 3, patrol back and forth in the Glatt Canyon. Unlike the Minotaur Thunder Moses, frost goblins in the Glatt Canyon are much smarter than the previous 2. This is obviously a coordinated attack. A level 15 professional has unlocked the second professional skill, and their combat power has greatly improved. Therefore, this dungeon that requires level 15 in difficulty is obviously much stronger than before. I looked at the frost goblin in front of me, with excitement in my eyes. With such small arms and legs, they look fragile. I muttered to myself. I started to use skills. Gatling rotating machine gun. Under my call, a Gatling rotating machine gun appeared quickly, almost drowning me completely. A few groups of frost goblins nearby seemed to sense the danger, and one by one they turned their eyes to me. I smiled, bending slightly, and then stomped my right foot on the ground and rushed towards the valley instantly. Meanwhile, the Gatling rotating machine guns fired simultaneously. The piercing sound of the whistle filled the sky. The dense ammunition was like countless locusts and directly ravaged the ground. The effective range of Gatling rotating machine gun is 1 kilometer. I don't even need to look. Under the fire of 20 Gatling guns, the frost goblins within 1 kilometer ahead were instantly engulfed by bullets. In just 5 minutes, I rushed to the boss area where the Frost Goblin King was located. I didn't even see the boss's specific appearance. The boss was swept into a pool of flesh and blood. Killing Frost Goblin gives 30 experience points. Killing an elite Frost Goblin gives 50 experience points. Killing the Frost Goblin King gives 100 XP. Clear the Glatt Canyon to get 300 experience points. Congratulations. You have refreshed the fastest time to clear the Glaive Canyon, and you get 500 experience points. Ha ha ha, so cool. It's so fucking cool. This is the engineer, the real king of firepower, a mech that can fight against 100 enemies. With the difficulty of the dungeon significantly increased, my clearance speed is even faster. The Gatling rotating machine gun lives up to its reputation. Now I can even be sure that, with my current firepower, even if I enter a 20-level dungeon, I can definitely crush these low-level monsters all the way. They have no power to resist at all. My heart is full of enthusiasm. I immediately started cleaning up the battlefield, collecting the materials and equipment dropped by monsters. Then I left the dungeon. The crowd outside was still chatting. Suddenly, they saw the teleportation area in the Glatt Canyon. A white light lit up. Li Haotian. Why did he come out now? Could it be that he failed to hack the bug? Everyone's eyes showed surprise. But then on the display board above the Glatt Canyon, a message was immediately updated. The fastest record of passing through the Glatt Canyon. The fastest time is 15 minutes and 21 seconds. Li Haotian looked at the line of small red words. There was a moment of silence. Then it exploded immediately. Damn it. Am I blind? 15 minutes to solo the Glaive Canyon. Could this guy be the Prince of Frost Goblins? Yenting trembled all over, staring blankly at the display board above the dungeon, as if she had seen a ghost. Duguyan even opened her mouth in an O shape, and was completely dumbfounded. Although he thought I could solo the Glaive Canyon, but he never thought that I could clear it in such a short time. Did I just rush to the boss area? Don't you need to pick up the loot? It's definitely not my card bug. But there was a bug in the dungeon. It wasn't just Duguyan who had this idea. In the crowd around, several people's eyes began to flicker, and even some decisive ones even went straight to the ticket office, decisively bought a ticket to the Glatt Canyon, and then went straight to the teleportation area. Without forming a team, I didn't see anyone. Disappeared into the Glatt Canyon. Wenting finally came to her senses. She looked at me with an incredulous expression, staring at me for a long time. Seeing me activate another ticket, disappeared in the teleportation area of the Glat Canyon. She couldn't sit still anymore. She grabbed Duguyan and gritted his teeth towards the ticket window. A security guard next to him looked at his young master blankly and asked, "Master, you're talking nonsense. Of course, I'm going to the Glat Canyon to try. Didn't you see that? Others have already been teleported in." The security guard was even more puzzled. "But young master, those people have already reached level 15. But you're only level 13. Wenting stopped, and her body froze. Damn, I almost forgot about this. I was really pissed off by that guy. Yenting cursed in her heart awkwardly, and turned around her feet, towards the Thunder Ruins. An hour later, Yenting looked gloomy, with Duguyan and 2 security guards, reappeared in the copy teleportation hall. With 2 level 15 security guards to help fight monsters, Yuenting and her team's efficiency in clearing the dungeon. But the reason why they spent an hour, it was mainly because Yuenting was not giving up. She spent a lot of time inside to conduct various tests, trying to find out how I got stuck in the bug. The result was self-evident. When Yuenting came out, he learned from the discussions of the people around him that I had entered the Glatter Canyon for the 5th time. At this time, Yuenting, who thought he was talented, was full of anger. He took Duguyan and walked out. Since he couldn't rely on the copy to quickly gain experience, he had to go to the wild to kill monsters. By the way, I also asked the security guard to bring the new big tent. Li Hotian likes soloing dungeons, right? I'll solo your girl to vent my anger. In the next 2 days, besides eating and sleeping, I spent almost all my time on the dungeon. At night, I had already reached level 18 to unlock the next more difficult dungeon, the depths of the Glatter Canyon. The next day, early in the morning, I sold all materials and equipment, and sold them all at the auction house, and exchanged them for tens of thousands of gold coins. Then I used the tens of thousands of gold coins. I bought all the tickets to the deep of Glat Canyon. Although there are only 2 levels from level 18 to 20, as the level increases, the experience required for upgrading, almost exponentially, I seem to be tireless. In the numb eyes of the ticket seller, over and over again into the depths of the glittering gorge. The tireless gunshots came from the depths of the canyon. The boss in the depths of the Glat Canyon, the Flame Goblin King, was shot into mincemeat again. Ding dong, congratulations on reaching level 20. Seeing the sudden upgrade prompt, I was shocked all over, and my eyes were filled with ecstasy. I finally reached level 20. I didn't even bother to check the equipment dropped by the boss, but immediately opened the attribute panel to check. Then I added 5 free potential points to spiritual power. I immediately pulled the panel to the bottom. I clicked on the talent section and saw the skills in the talent center. My surprised expression suddenly froze. These 2 skills, according to the knowledge I have learned, every professional will unlock 1 more skill. They will unlock 1 more skill. That is to say, if it were normal, there should only be 1 more skill at level 20. But I have 2 skills. I quickly checked it out curiously. Skill rocket launcher. Skill description: summon a rocket launcher to strike the enemy with great force. The rocket launcher consumes 4 spiritual power per minute. When the spiritual power is 0, the rocket launcher will be automatically withdrawn. My eyes lit up. Wow. I finally have a large-scale and powerful killing weapon. Although the spiritual value consumed has doubled, but with the power of the rocket launcher, this consumption is definitely worth it. With this thing, with Gatling rotating machine gun, 1 bow and 1 sweeping, in small-scale battles, it is enough to buy enough firepower to suppress me. With this power, is invincible in low-level dungeons. I took a deep breath. I turned my attention to another extra skill, achievement reward skill. The skill description of the exoskeleton armor is to summon, which greatly increases the user's strength, defense, and speed. Each minute the exoskeleton armor exists, consumes 4 spiritual power points. When the spiritual power value is 0, the exoskeleton armor will be automatically withdrawn. I was stunned when I saw the first line of introduction. Achievement reward. What achievement? I don't think it's mentioned in the textbooks. Professionals also have this thing. But then, I was amazed by the effect of this skill. Impressed by the effect of this skill. The exoskeleton armor can not only greatly improve my movement speed, but also 6 mechanical tentacles similar to spider feet. which can help me quickly pass through those steep terrains. That is to say, although this thing doesn't improve my attack power much, it's more functional in defense and assistance. It's definitely a very practical super weapon. After seeing these two newly unlocked skills, I looked forward to the talent column again. Except for the top infinite ammo, another icon lit up below. The second stage of the mechanical engineer's exclusive talent, God's Eye. Note 1. It builds a 360-degree holographic image, and the perspective can be freely zoomed in on any point. Note 2. The initial range of God's view is centered on the player, with a diameter of 100 meters. Every time you kill an enemy, the range of God's view expands 1 meter outward. Note 3. The third stage exclusive talent can be unlocked at level 30. I was shocked. This is not a talent. It's clearly cheating. The mechanic is known for his attack range. If it is matched with the God's Eye, he will be invincible. In the later stage, high-level professionals want to grow up. They have to kill millions of monsters. At that time, centered on myself, within hundreds or thousands of square kilometers, any slightest movement within a few kilometers. My sight, it's like being born invincible. The enemy can't even sneak attack. Thinking of this, I felt a little dazed. These talents are more and more amazing. I took a few deep breaths to suppress the unparalleled excitement in my heart, and forcefully suppressed it. I began to think about another thing. Tomorrow, the selection conference jointly held by major universities. Should I brush the dungeons a few more times? To expand the range of God's perspective. After a while, I shook my head slowly. Forget it, don't waste money for now. The current God's Eye view is a 100-meter radius. According to the selection situation of previous years, except for me, the levels of other professionals are probably only level 15 at most. At this level, low-level professionals, a 100-meter warning range is enough to handle. Compared with the God's view, what I lack most now is spiritual power. I don't waste any more time, and immediately start cleaning up the battlefield. I even got a purple equipment. I picked it up in surprise. I found it was a leather armor, which is just right for me. I put it on without hesitation. I confirmed that I had picked up all the equipment and materials. I left the dungeon. I quickly walked to the auction house nearby. I sold everything I had collected during this time. I sold them all, and exchanged for over 10,000 gold coins. Then, in the auctioneer's astonished gaze, I swept up a lot of equipment. I changed my equipment. I opened the attribute panel again, and looked at the spiritual power value. I finally nodded with satisfaction. 630. This spiritual power value. If I summon 10 Gatling rotating machine guns, and 10 rocket launchers, and fire them all for 10 minutes, I'm sure that, with my current firepower, not to mention the Phantom God profession, even the newly promoted professionals, combined, they can't match me. This classmate, don't you want weapons? The auctioneer saw. I bought a purple suit, but I didn't buy the most important weapon for a player. The most important weapon. He kindly reminded me that there was a purple equipment just listed this morning. AK-47 has a fire attribute enchantment. It can add fire attribute to any skill when activated. The attack output is stable, and it's not easy to jam. Do you want to see? I was slightly stunned. I suddenly remembered that there is still a weapon. AK-47 is a weapon, not only liked by the mechanic, but also other professions, also often buy one for self-defense. Although their proficiency in firearms is far inferior to that of a mechanic. But with the AK-47's attack power, in the battles of low-level professionals, it can still play a significant role. The only drawback is that, if they don't use their own weapons, the spiritual power consumption will be more than double, and the durability of the weapon will drop sharply. Well, wait. I suddenly had a bright idea. If we lock the weapon, only equipped but not used, the weapon will be equivalent to a pendant. It will only provide basic attributes to the caster. Thinking of this, I immediately asked the auctioneer if there was a great staff. Yes, but this classmate, the staff is not suitable for you. Are you sure you want to see the staff? I nodded decisively. Yes, I want a staff. Well, the auctioneer had no choice, but he could only open the search bar of the staff for me. There was even a pink artifact level wand, and it was level 20. Seeing the noble pink in the search results, my eyes lit up immediately. The slow goblin staff, it increases spiritual power by 150, and the price is 2,000 gold coins. Damn, it's so cheap. Seeing the price of this staff, I couldn't help but exclaim. Generally speaking, The artifact-level pink equipment cost at least 4 or 5,000 gold coins. 2,000 gold coins is really a bargain. Weapon effect, spell power increase by double. Skill cooldown. And 50% increase in casting time. Casting time is increased by 50%. Note that you can't have both. 50% plus 50% equals 1. This is a fair deal. My mouth twitched a little. Mages are easily interrupted when casting spells, resulting in a failed spell. If you increase the time by 50%, isn't this creating opportunities for the enemy? No wonder no one wants it at such a low price. This thing is a waste of time for mages. But for me, it is definitely a real artifact. With this staff, my spiritual power value can instantly increase to over 800. As for the negative effects of using the artifact, it's not a problem for me at all, because I don't plan to use it at all. I just use it to increase my basic attributes. When I equip this staff, I will directly lock it and use it as a hiking stick. It doesn't affect my use of the engineer's skills at all. I said without hesitation that I want it. The auctioneer looked at me in astonishment. You sure that the artifact-level pink equipment is precious? But the staff is not suitable for you to use, not to mention its strong negative effect. I waved my hand. 2,000 gold coins fell out. I was even a little impatient. I'm sure. Hurry up and trade. The auctioneer helplessly used the teleportation device to teleport this pink equipment from the warehouse. The deal is done. After getting this weapon, I equipped it on myself without hesitation and locked it. I turned away with excitement. Equipped. Everything is ready. Tomorrow's college selection is really exciting. In the suburbs of Tianjin, the capital of the Dragon Empire, a tall girl opened the glass door and walked out of the bathroom. A prompt sound came from her phone. She opened her phone and took a look, and a surprised look appeared on her face. I put on auction. The goblin staff I put on auction was actually bought. Interesting, I wonder which new mage it is would dare to use this thing. Just then, a deep male voice came from outside the house. You, tomorrow. We're going to Xixiang City to hold a selection meeting. Have you packed your luggage? The girl replied crisply. I've prepared everything. Dad, you are the student representative of our college. You must show your spirit then. Don't embarrass me. The girl smiled. Don't worry, Dad. I'm an element controller of level 29, the most outstanding genius girl in Tsinghua Academy. How could I embarrass you? The girl's thick male voice seemed a little helpless, but did not refute the girl's boasting. The next morning, in the huge four-symbol square, has gathered, including all the surrounding 10 satellite cities. All the new professionals. My school, Qingshan College, under the leadership of teachers, occupied one of the areas in the square. On one side of the square, a huge high platform had been set up. The Eastern Dragon Empire. Teachers and leaders of the admissions offices have all taken their places. In the center of the high platform, 2 huge tables are the most conspicuous. Behind the table on the left, sitting a middle-aged man, a dignified middle-aged man. The man has a faint smile on his face, with a hint of kindness in his dignity. And behind the man, there stands a graceful young girl. The girl is tall, with slender and straight thighs, accounting for half of her body. Behind the right table, there is a middle-aged woman with a serious expression, with her lips tightly pursed, making her look stern. Behind her, there is also a young girl. This girl seems to be a duplicate of the middle-aged woman, are carved out of the same mold. Her eyes are slightly upturned, with a spear on her back, with a calm expression. These two are the 2 best colleges in the East Dragon Empire, the admissions teachers of Tsinghua College and Peking University. At this time, the host of this college selection conference came to them and respectfully said, Lord Yun, all the students participating in this college selection have all arrived. Please take charge of the overall situation. Tsinghua College and Peking University are in a superior position in the empire. They have trained many powerful professionals. The teachers of these 2 colleges all have positions in the army. That's why the host of the conference calls them adults. The serious middle-aged woman nodded slightly and turned to look at teacher Jiang Zhen beside her. Almost everyone is here. Let's start. Jiang Zhen smiled slightly. The last selection conference was hosted by our Tsinghua Academy. This year it's up to teacher Yun Miao. Yun Miao was not surprised at all and nodded. The college selection. has always been hosted by Tsinghua College and Peking University. Take turns to host. This time, it's the turn of Peking University. Yun Miao stood up and stood in front of the high platform. With his stern gaze, he scanned the new professionals below. He said, "I am the admissions teacher of Peking University. I announce that the college selection conference officially begins." Several student representatives from each college stepped out with a 2-meter interval and stood in the open space below. As soon as he finished speaking, behind all the college admissions teachers, a student walked out from behind them and walked towards the open space below. Jiang Zhen smiled, turned to the girl behind him and smiled. You can go too." The girl smiled and said yes. "Line up everyone in the open space below." Yun Miao reached out and grabbed in the air. A golden staff appeared in Yun Miao's hand. Seeing that golden light, the new professionals below couldn't help but let out a cry of surprise. As expected of a teacher from North University, she has an epic-level weapon. "Stand up." A low incantation came out of Yun Miao's mouth. Then Yun Miao shouted and the mirror image appeared. He waved the staff forward. A layer of golden light suddenly shot out on the students' representatives sitting on the open ground. Then the students' bodies slightly trembled. A golden phantom, like a doppelganger, stepped out of their bodies. Standing in front of them, Yun Miao waved his staff again. Another layer of golden light shrouded over. Those golden light shadows were illuminated by this golden light, slowly melt and expand, turning into a huge translucent light mirror. Yun Miao said solemnly, "I will announce the rules of this selection meeting." Hearing Yun Miao's voice, my expression became a little more serious. In the college selection conference, the selection rules are different every time. Yun Miao scanned the new students below with a calm voice. "The students in front of you are the best students in the last freshman class, and in the light mirror in front of them, there is a projection of themselves. The projection can use all their own abilities, but their overall strength is only half of their body. Each of you has 3 chances to choose. Enter the light mirror and survive the projection's attack for 3 minutes. You can get the students the admission qualification of the college they represent." At this point, Yun Miao paused slightly. "Then I want to remind you that different college representatives, their own levels and strengths, will also be very different. So before you choose, think carefully. Otherwise, if the opponent you choose is beyond your ability, it will be a waste of an opportunity. If you fail all 3 challenges, it means that in this college selection conference, you will be eliminated. You can only wait for next year. This selection will continue until 12 o'clock at night. Those who haven't completed the challenge before 12 o'clock will also be considered eliminated. Let's start." Yun Miao turned around and walked back to her seat. Jiang Zhen frowned slightly, looked at Yun Miao. "Teacher Yun Miao, the rules you set seem simple and straightforward. But for those newcomers, it's actually quite difficult." Yun Miao glanced at him. She said in a deep voice, "Do you mean information asymmetry?" Qiaojin nodded. "Those student representatives are talented and have studied in various colleges for a year. Although newcomers can know the strength of and the professional marks on their foreheads, they can roughly know the strength level of the student representatives, but the apparent level and actual combat power are completely different. To choose the right college and opponent, it's not easy." Yun Miao looked calm. "So I gave them 3 chances to choose. If they are not idiots, they should make a conservative choice first, at least to ensure that they will not be eliminated. On this basis, then they can choose a better and more suitable college." Jiang Zhen thought for a moment and shook his head slightly. "However, but with their age and experience, few of them can do this." Yun Miao's expression became serious, and her tone became stern. "Teacher Jiang Zhen, have you forgotten the last world dungeon?" Jiang Zhen showed a helpless expression on his face. As a professional, if they want to grow and develop, talent alone is not enough. If they only rely on their talents and abilities, and just rely on brute force, at the low level they may still be proud for a while. But at the high level, large-scale group dungeons, killing dungeons, and world dungeons, these high-level dungeons, they may die in it if they are not careful. Our Empire of Donglong, in the recent world dungeons, how many so-called geniuses have been lost? Without further ado, just the last one. Half of the people died in the world dungeon. The Onmyoji and ninjas from Japan, and those Russians from the United States. Which one is not eyeing us? Speaking of which, Yun Miao snorted coldly. Over the years, the Empire has produced have been too many. They are all useless trash, which is a waste of national resources. What we need are not outstanding first-line professionals or more powerful phantom gods, but those with wisdom and courage, and dare to think and act. If they, even this most basic self-judgment and choice, can't do it well, they will be cannon fodder if they grow up. Such students, we don't need them at Peking University. Jiang Zhen looked at Yun Miao with a cold expression and shook his head and sighed, and stopped talking. In recent years, the Eastern Dragon Empire does have a trend of lack of successors. I came to the front of those students and looked at the two student representatives in the middle. Zhang Wuyu, a 29-level elemental controller, Yunlan, a 29-level battle mage. Looking at these two girls with different temperaments, I muttered to myself, they are indeed representatives of Tsinghua and Peking University. Not only are they both phantom gods, their levels are obviously stronger than those of other colleges. Just as I was hesitating, a mocking voice came from beside me. Li Haotian, look at you like this. Do you still want to fight against Tsinghua Academy and Peking University Academy? I turned around and saw it was Yuan Ting and Du Guyan. Yuan Ting showed a mocking expression. Li Haotian. This is the college selection competition. It depends on real strength. You can find a crooked way in the copy. Are you still stuck here? I sneered. It's none of your business whether I bug or not. I don't know who wanted to learn from me a few days ago, but unfortunately you are not smart enough. But he didn't have the chance. Yenting was immediately angry. She was furious and stubborn. Li Haotian, today I'll show you what a real phantom god profession is. Compared to my Nightwalker, your crappy mechanic can only bug, nothing else. Saying that, Yuan Ting walked towards the illusion in front of Yunlin. Qingshan College. Yuan Ting, level 16 Nightwalker, challenges Beta College. Yunlin, standing beside the illusion, looked at Yuan Ting in surprise, with a flash of surprise in his eyes. Level 16 Nightwalker. Yuan Ting was all purple, displaying his rare equipment in front of everyone. He nodded modestly. Yunlin nodded slightly, with a smile on her face. Go ahead. Hearing Yunlin's praise, the new professionals around all showed envious expressions. Students who can enter Peking University Academy are already the favored ones of the heavens. And to represent Peking University, participate in the college selection conference, are the best among their peers. To get a good comment from him, it already hinted at something. Yenting was likely to pass the assessment of Peking University. Senior Yuan Ting was also secretly happy. She shamelessly replied, as if she had passed the assessment and successfully obtained the admission qualification. I looked like I was watching a play and didn't rush to choose. Watching Yuan Ting step into the illusion of Peking University, the assessment requirements are to withstand the phantom attacks of college representatives, to persist for 3 minutes. It's still early in the evening. With my strength, I'm not in a hurry at all. Time passed quickly. The first students to enter the illusion challenge have come out one after another, except for a few who showed joy on their faces. Most of the students looked frustrated. Obviously, their judgment did not match their own abilities. In front of Peking University and Tsinghua University, everyone's eyes are focused on Peking University, the illusion of the college. They all want to know whether Yuan Ting could pass the assessment of Peking University. Damn, it's been 2.5 minutes. I feel like he has a chance. Wow, he is indeed a top-tier player in the Fantasy God, the Night Stalker, which is in the upper middle. His combat power is really strong. He can persist until now. Look at that guy in purple all over. He must be a member of a wealthy family. Just this purple outfit has brought him a huge boost. A bystander sourly shouted, wow, it's been 3 minutes. He really passed the assessment of Peking University. Then the illusion beside Yunlin flashed. Wenting, who was in rags, reappeared, breathing heavily, although she looked embarrassed. But her pride on her face was even more than before. She looked at Yunlin. Sister Yunlin, you are indeed the best student of last year's Peking University. You are really amazing. Even with half of his strength, the Phantom is so powerful. Fortunately, the assessment only lasted 3 minutes. If it were 1 more minute, I would have been killed by senior sister. Yunlin chuckled and shook her head slightly. This freshman is quite good at talking, with obvious flattery in his words. Reflecting illusion is one of his teacher's unique skills. And the rules set by the teacher, there was no way to kill each other. At most, he would be beaten up. Just throw him out. You're not bad. You can achieve this level in just 3 days of career awakening. You deserve to be the Nightwalker. Stand behind me. After the assessment, we will take you back to Peking University together and officially become a member of Peking University, Yunlin said lightly. On the high platform, Yun Miao's serious face also relaxed slightly. He nodded slightly. Zhang Zhen smiled and congratulated Yun teacher. Congratulations to the Peking University Academy for opening first. Yun Miao glanced at him. The 16-level Nightwalker is indeed not bad. Judging from his equipment, it must be from a certain big family in Sihang City. His overall quality is indeed much stronger than those grassroots. Hearing this, Zhang Zhen frowned slightly. He felt a bit displeased, because he was born in a grassroots family. To achieve what he has now, he didn't know how much effort he had put in, and how many times he was looked down upon. To gain a foothold in Tianjin City, Zhang Zhen's voice became cold. Children from big families, in terms of innate conditions, are indeed stronger than ordinary people. But whether they can become strong depends on themselves. How far they can go ultimately mainly depends on a person's heart and wisdom. Yun Miao raised the corner of her mouth with a faint mockery. Professionals are different from ordinary people. Talented and lacking resources, professionals. No matter how hard they try, how much can they achieve? As he said, Yun Miao's gaze fell on me in the crowd. For example, this student, although he is a phantom god, but in reality, is probably not even as good as a second-tier profession. Back then, Marshal Li overcame all objections and spent so much effort. To train that grassroots mechanic is the best example. 10 years of hard work was easily destroyed by a little ninja. Yu Tsinghua have invested so much resources only to get this thing. Yun Miao shook his head and said, in recent years, Marshal Li has become a bit senile. Hearing Yun Miao mention the marshal, Zhang Zhen's face immediately darkened. Li Marshal graduated from Tsinghua University and is the pride of all Tsinghua students. But since that time, the mechanical engineer was assassinated by the Sakura. Li's prestige has been greatly hit. Especially Peking University, the rival of Tsinghua University. Because of Li's rise, Peking University has been suppressed by Tsinghua for decades. With this incident, Peking University has been criticized. But the people of Tsinghua Academy couldn't refute it. They had made almost everything to ensure the safety. They had almost done everything to ensure his safety. Who knows how the assassin from the land of the rising sun managed to pass through the screening. To assassinate successfully in Tianjin City. This matter is really bizarre. Facing Yun Miao's inappropriate words to the marshal, although Zhang Zhen was indignant, he could only endure and not speak anymore. Yen Ting, who passed the Kauhe of Peking University, he smoothed his messy hair and looked at me proudly. Li Haodian, did you see that? This is the real phantom god profession, and the gap between your crappy phantom god profession. People around looked at me with a curious and eager to see the show look, as if they wanted to see me flee in shame. I walked forward slowly. I also came to the illusion of Peking University College. He sneered. Look at you, you look like a fool. It's just a test. If they don't know, they would think you are already a level 100 expert. Seeing that I still dared to be stubborn, Yuan Ting's face instantly turned down. She was about to fight back, but Yunlan in front of her spoke first. A newly transferred engineer, the most useless phantom god profession. With such a strong vanity, how dare you judge others? Behind Yunlin, Yenting felt a burst of pleasure in her heart. She didn't expect that this senior Yunlin seemed cold, but her mouth is so sharp, it almost touched her heart. Sister Lin, please don't say that. This Li Haoshin in front of you is the top student in Qingshan College, the perennial #1 scholar, and also has an unprecedented full spiritual power value of 100. Yunlin looked back at Yuan Ting with a look of surprise in her eyes. But then, he said carelessly, so what if you have full spiritual power if you awaken as a mechanic? Not to mention your full spiritual power. Even if your spiritual power value doubles, it's still a crappy profession. A mechanic with a staff. Do you want to practice a dog-beating stick? With your ability, not to mention surviving 3 minutes under my phantom's attack, not even half a minute, you'll be thrown out. A flash of coldness in my eyes. And looked at Yunlin playfully. Not even half a minute. Are you sure? Yunlin sneered. A rubbish profession. Half a minute is already an honor. I laughed heartily. A pink staff appeared in my hand. I strode towards the illusion in front of Yunlin. A frog in a well. You don't know shit. The power of the pink staff is enough to blow your head off. Then, with a flash of his figure, and disappeared into the illusion. Yunlin was so angry that her face turned red, and her body trembled slightly. A kid who just awakened his profession for 3 days dare to say that he, the student representative of Peking University, is a frog in a well. This is an incredible thing. He gritted his teeth and said, "You ignorant brat. When you are beaten out by my phantom, I'll see how you can pretend then." Xiang Wuyu's beautiful face flashed a look of curiosity and solemnity. It turned out that his staff was bought by the mechanic named Li Haotian in front of him. Although the slow goblin staff is very powerful, but its negative effects are also a major flaw. Xiang Wuyu remembered that just now, under the ridicule of everyone, there was no sense of shame or anger, but instead he looked calm. A sudden premonition occurred in my heart. This mechanic seems to be different from ordinary mechanics. After I entered the illusion, a girl stood 50 meters in front of me, except for her lifeless eyes. She was no different from the Yunlan outside. A prompt suddenly appeared in front of me. 10 seconds to prepare. The phantom of Yunlan opposite stood still. I quickly used the exoskeleton armor. I quickly added a layer of defense for myself. Then, 20 black Gatling rotating machine guns and 10 rocket launchers appeared quickly. The dark muzzles and barrels, aimed at Yunnan's phantom, the area around Yunnan, were all within the attack range. The battle begins. 20 Gatling rotating machine guns fired simultaneously. The violent rain of bullets did not shoot at Yunnan, but instead blocked a 10-meter radius around him. And the remaining 10 rocket launchers concentrated firepower on Yunnan. I raised the corners of my mouth slightly. I murmured, "Battle mage," a special type of mage. They are fast with excellent close combat skills and sharp attacks, but as long as I block all your dodge spaces and then use the rocket launcher to bombard. Even if you are strong in close combat, can you still run out under my artillery fire? Sure enough, the Yunnan phantom on the opposite side was about to attack. But in the face of the overwhelming hail of bullets, he was instantly confused. He stood there dumbfounded and didn't know how to react. A huge explosion sounded. In the blink of an eye, Yunnan phantom was blown into pieces by the rocket. I grinned. This is the phantom god. This is the professional. With the disappearance of Yunnan's phantom, a strong sense of distortion swept towards me. It was exactly the same as when I was teleported in. I was moved. I immediately deactivated all skills. The Gatling rotating machine gun, rocket launcher in midair, and the exoskeleton armor on my body disappeared in an instant. On the high platform in the square outside, Yunmiao with a cold face trembled slightly, and her pupils instantly contracted. Jiangjin next to her felt Yunmiao's strangeness and turned to look at her in surprise. He wondered what was wrong with this arrogant woman. Yunmiao suddenly stood up and took a few steps forward, staring fixedly at Yunlin in front of her, with a shocked expression on her face, because just now he felt that an illusion he created had disappeared, and this phantom was his proud disciple Yunlin. No, this is impossible. How could a mere mechanic? How could it be? Yunmiao's eyes were full of... With an incredulous look, he muttered, "There are only 2 possibilities for the phantom to disappear. One is that he actively canceled it, or it was destroyed. But with Yunlan's strength, even if the phantom is only half as strong as his body, it was impossible to be destroyed by a mechanic." The chaos below continued. Everyone looked at Yunlan with a bad face, and were still discussing, the mechanical engineer who dares to threaten the top student. Just then, a light flashed and my figure reappeared in front of everyone. Seeing me appear, Yinting's eyes suddenly lit up. "Ha ha ha. You are indeed a useless mechanic. You couldn't even last 20 seconds and were beaten out. Li Haoxian, are you pretending? Are you pretending to me? Now tell me who is the frog at the bottom of the well. Didn't you want to use that broken artifact staff to blow up Senior Sister Yun's dog head?" Yuanting seemed to want to attract the attention of everyone, to attract everyone's attention. The voice was so loud, completely shouting at the top of her lungs. The onlookers burst into laughter. Various mocking voices quickly followed suit. "It's so funny. From just now until now, he has only been in for more than 10 seconds. He is worthy of being a 3-second man. It's so fast." When Wu Yu saw me appear, was also slightly surprised. But when he looked closely, the confusion on his face It slowly turned into surprise and incredulity, because he noticed a detail. I, who reappeared, was exactly the same as before I went in. If I was really beaten out by Yunan's phantom, it's impossible that my clothes are not wrinkled, and my hair was not messy at all. Could I really have defeated? I really defeated Yunan's phantom in such a short time? It's not the phantom of Yunan. Yunan phantom was still mocking me. You are really a rubbish mechanic. I really overestimated you. I didn't expect you to even last for 20 seconds. Suddenly, a series of cracking sounds came from the illusion. Crash and broken sound, followed by a soft bang, and exploded and disappeared. He looked at the disappearing illusion in front of him, with a trace of confusion in his eyes. The illusion is broken. What's going on? Why did the teacher suddenly cancel my reflection illusion? Yunlin subconsciously looked back at the high platform, and then he saw Yun Miao standing on the high platform, staring at Yun Miao on the high platform in disbelief. His whole body froze. Then, following Yun Miao's gaze, he looked behind. Yunlin's eyes suddenly widened, and her mouth slightly opened, and looked at me in shock. I looked around at everyone. I gently waved the staff in my hand, and my smile gradually widened. I lived up to my mission. My staff can really blow up your head. With a bang, the scene suddenly exploded. Everyone's mouth all burst into an incredible exclamation. Wu Yu showed a shocked expression on his face. This guy really smashed Yunlin's phantom. Could there be any hidden effect or extra bonus, or additional bonuses? In Wu Yoyo's agile eyes, sparked with inquiry and curiosity, it fell on me. Yunlin stared at me with an ugly face, asking as a mere mechanic, could never defeat my phantom. What tricks did you play in there? Refraction illusion is a skill of Yun Miao's light refraction staff, usually used by Yun Miao to hone her disciples. Even Yun Miao, the caster, could not perceive the specific situation in the illusion. That is to say, the battle I had in the illusion just now. Yun Miao and Yunlan couldn't see it. So they don't know what means I used to destroy Yunlin's phantom. Seeing that Yunlin is still putting on airs, I sneered, what? You can't accept that I was defeated by a mechanic. I can't stand your assessment. Is there a supplementary combat process? Yunlin was so angry that her chest bulged. Okay, Yunlin. Yun Miao on the high platform suddenly interrupted. Yunlin looked at the staff in my hand. There was a look of shock in her eyes. After hearing that I was a mechanic, he didn't pay much attention to this new profession. Much attention. So he didn't notice that my artifact level staff was level 20. Slow goblin staff. This mechanic, within 3 days of the career awakening, has soared to level 20. How did he do it? Your name is Li Haochen, right? Right. Although I don't know how you did it. But since you defeated Lanner's phantom, you have passed the assessment. Stand behind Lanner. When the assessment is over, we will take you back to the Northern University, Yun Miao said solemnly. I raised my eyebrows. I glanced at Yun Miao, and then looked at Yuan Ting, who gritted his teeth and looked gloomy. A strange smile suddenly appeared on my face. I don't think I said I want to join Peking University. Yun Miao's expression changed. A bad feeling suddenly rose in her heart. What do you mean? I smiled. If I remember correctly, you just said that the rules of the assessment are everyone has 3 challenge opportunities, but there is no rule that as long as you pass the illusion test, you must enter that college. Yun Miao showed an incredulous expression on her face. Being admitted to the Northern University Academy is the dream of all new professionals. Don't you want to? I sneered. The highest institution in our Eastern Dragon Empire is not just the Northern University. After saying that, I didn't even look at Yunlin. I turned and walked towards Jiang Wuyuyu beside me. Facing Jiang Wuyuyu's surprised and puzzled gaze, I smiled slightly. The new mechanical engineer, Li Haotian, I wonder if he can challenge Tsinghua Academy. Of course. Jiang Wuyu came to his senses from the series of changes, and replied excitedly. The unprecedented full spiritual power value. Although he is a mechanic, but he carried a staff, and he has risen to level 20 in just 3 days. This Li Haotian is so mysterious. On the high platform, Jiang Zhen finally reacted, quickly got up and came to the edge, and looked at me with burning eyes. I nodded slightly. I looked at Yunlin and Yuan Ting with contempt. I stepped into the illusion in front of Jiang Wuyu. As before, a phantom of Jiang Wuyuyu stood not far away. The countdown to 10 seconds prompt appeared again. I repeated my trick. Jiang Wuyuyu, as an elemental controller, even didn't have time to finish the spell, was drowned in the hail of bullets, and was blown into light. The distorted feeling of the game came again. I released skills, my figure disappeared. The outside world was quiet. Now no one dares to laugh at me. Everyone's eyes widened, staring at the illusion in front of Jiang Wuyu. Yunmiao's pupils slightly contracted, and her body stiffened again. It lasted for more than 10 seconds. Jiang Wuyu's phantom was also blown up, and the illusion in front of Jiang Wuyu made a clicking sound again, and then it exploded in the next moment. Although Jiang Wuyu had expected such a result, but when his phantom was easily destroyed by me, he was still filled with shock. Yunlin is a very powerful close combat mage, and he himself is an elemental controller with strong ranged attacks. This Li Haoxian, is he not afraid of both long and close combat? Even if he reached level 20, but he has only been a job transfer for 3 days. How could he accumulate to instantly kill himself and Yunlin's phantom's super weapons? It's really incredible. I smiled, looked at her slightly parted lips. Jiang Wuyu with a slightly silly expression. I asked this senior, I should have passed the Tsinghua, the selection assessment of the college? Before Jiang Wuyu could reply, Zhang Zhen on the high platform excitedly shouted, Of course. Li Haodian, you have exceeded the assessment. Our Tsinghua Academy is honored to invite you to join. As Zhang Zhen said this, the surroundings suddenly fell silent. Then various voices of envy and amazement came one after another. Oh my god. He really passed the assessment of Tsinghua Academy, and was invited to join by the teacher of Tsinghua Academy. And Yunlan, representing Peking University Academy, also had an incredulous expression on her face, with her fists clenched, and gritted her teeth. Yenting behind him was even more jealous with red eyes, staring at me fiercely. How did that little bastard do it? If Yunlin hadn't just spoken rudely to me, Yuanting even doubted whether Peking University and Tsinghua University to play a role with me. On the high platform, Yun Miao was also livid. My behavior just now was a naked slap in the face of Peking University. Silence, looking at the noisy discussion below. Yun Miao was furious. He roared. When the crowd below was quiet, he glared at me. Me standing behind Jiang Wuyu, he shouted. The selection continues. Anyone who dares to make noise, he will be disqualified directly. In the strange eyes of the new professionals, he grabbed his wand again and swung it towards Yunlin and Jiang Wuyu. He twisted out a new refraction in front of them. The selection of Fantasy College continues. Young Wuyu was idle, turned to me curiously, asked me in a clear voice, Li Haoqian, how did you defeat me and Yunlin? Phantom clone. I smiled and winked at him. I'm a mechanic. Of course, it's with super weapons. Jiang Wuyu slightly pursed her rosy lips. If you don't want to say, that's fine. You're not being honest. As a top student of Tsinghua University, Jiang Wuyu, a top student of Tsinghua College, the combat level of the early mechanical engineer, he has a good understanding. With my strength that has just awakened for 3 days, he doesn't think his phantom wouldn't last even 20 seconds, will be killed. There must be other means. I shrugged my shoulders innocently. I'm not lying. The 12 o'clock deadline for the selection was approaching. Du Guyan was livid, sitting behind the student representative of Tianguang Academy, but her eyes always swept towards Tsinghua Academy. As a first-line professional holy priest, his talent is definitely not bad. Based on his cautious personality, Du Guyan chose to train the Tianguang College, known for auxiliary professions, for the assessment. With the holy priest's shield of light, he successfully lasted for 3 minutes to pass the assessment. Then, he challenged Peking University and Tsinghua University, but in the face of Yunlin and Jiang Wuyu's phantom attacks, he could only hold on for 2 minutes. The final result was naturally failure. And in order to get Yuan Ting to give him sub-equipment, these nights, he stayed up late with Yuan Ting to fight. But even so, Yuan Ting only gave him 3 or 4 pieces of equipment. If he followed me, with my gains in the dungeon, he would have already been fully equipped. Probably, he would have passed the selection of Peking University. Examination, Li Haoqian. You cruel bastard. You ruined my future. You deserve to die. Yun Miao glanced at the time, stood up. He raised his hand and grabbed the staff, and waved it in the air. The golden light was gorgeous in the night. All the representatives of the colleges, the translucent light mirrors in front of them disappeared. A few light mirrors still had students being assessed, were also forcibly ejected, Yun Miao said in a deep voice. Time's up and this year's college selection is over. Those who didn't pass the selection can come again next year. Yun Miao disdainfully. He glanced at the crying losers below. He turned to Yunlan, and more than 10 behind Yunlan. The freshman who passed the selection examination. He said coldly, Beta College belongs to me. Follow me, it's Teacher Yun. Everyone behind Yunlan responded in unison, with pride in their eyes. Proud to pass the assessment of Peking University. They indeed have the capital to be proud. Only Yuan Ting looked at the Tsinghua Academy with a cold gaze, similar to the Northern University College. Behind Jiang Wuyu also stood more than 10 new students who passed the exam. These freshmen were obviously more embarrassed in appearance, because most of these new professionals have few clothes, so they naturally have a hard time resisting phantom attacks. Tsinghua Academy has a nickname in the folk. It's called the Poor's University, while the Peking University Academy is called a noble private school. Jiang Zhen, who came from grassroots, looked at the new students below with anticipation and excitement. He felt like seeing himself decades ago. He smiled gently and said, Little ones, congratulations. From today on, you have truly embarked on the path of a professional. It's Teacher Jiang. The freshman of Tsinghua Academy replied excitedly. Jiang Wuyu's beautiful face broke into a smile. All freshmen and sisters gather here. We will use the city teleportation array and return directly to Tianjin City, everyone replied, and dispersed. Go back and pack your luggage. I just got home, packed my things, and was about to sleep. Suddenly, a red pillar of light, a red pillar that seemed to penetrate the sky and earth. I looked at the red pillar in surprise. I saw 3 bars looming in the pillar, with a limited level of 30. I muttered to myself, Abyss Dungeon. Are random Abyss Dungeons and directional Abyss Dungeons, except for large group dungeons and world dungeons, is the one with the highest income. As the name suggests, Random Abyss Dungeon will randomly appear anywhere in the world. The most prominent feature is the red pillar that seems to penetrate the world. The location of the red pillar is the teleportation entrance of the random abyss. The number of horizontal bars in the pillar represents the level limit for entering the random abyss dungeon. As for the other directional abyss dungeon, can only rely on the random abyss dungeon, the abyss token produced to teleport in. No matter which kind of abyss dungeon, it means a large amount of abyss materials and experience, and any abyss monster can drop pink and purple equipment with a 10 times higher drop rate than normal dungeons. More importantly, the abyss dungeon is the only dungeon that can produce legendary orange gear. Except for the golden epic equipment, the legendary orange equipment produced in the abyss copy, for low-level professionals, the best equipment they can get. Just then, my phone rang with a series of prompts. I opened my phone and I found that Jiang Zhen sent a message in the newly built group. Random Abyss Dungeon appears in 4 Symbols City. During the Random Abyss Dungeon's appearance, all city teleportation arrays within 100 miles will be blocked. Our return trip tomorrow morning is cancelled. After the Random Abyss Dungeon is conquered, then return to Tianjin City.